Oi, oi. What are you lot saying? Welcome back to another episode of the Optimum Collective podcast. Big ups, one and all, once again, for tuning in, for checking in, and for listening. I'm here once again with my wooden spoon and my microphone's on the end. We are on episode 23 this week, so thank you again for taking the time. This week I've got a good friend of mine, Alex Wilson, on the podcast. He is a personal trainer and a very good one at that. And also he is a very decorated bodybuilder. You will see soon the sheer size of the bloke, making me look rather little, but you'll see that momentarily. Absolute legend, very, very good dude. Seen a lot, been through a lot, but in this one we are going to get into sort of the ins and outs of how he trains and how his brain works when it comes to training, bodybuilding, preps, all of that sort of fun stuff. If you guys wouldn't mind jumping in to the homepage of Spotify and following the podcast, that would be absolutely mad. Rating and review as well would be sick. If you want to subscribe and all that sort of jazz on YouTube, mad. That would be absolutely mental. But look, either way, thank you just for being here. I appreciate you very, very much. I hope you love it. Enjoy. And I'll see you on the other side. Peace and love. What up?
Hi, Taki.
Good, my bro. How are you?
Good, brother. Good.
Good to have you on.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. It's
Been a while in the making, hasn't it?
Yeah, what has it been like? What? How long?
Fucking
months. Yeah, good things. Good things. What's the saying?
Come to those who wait.
Isn't it? We've been waiting. We've been waiting.
This is going to be mint. You're going to dip in and out of accents and shit. It's going to be funny, as.
Yeah, it's been recently. I've been accenting, ascending and accenting. It's all sorts. Bit of Irish, bit of English, bit of fucking Welsh, mate. It's all good. I'm actually a quarter Irish, quarter English, quarter Welsh, quarter. Not Irish. Nah, not really. Half Italian.
I was going to say, where's the Italian, isn't it?
Where's the fucking Italian, mate? I'm from Dublin, you do nothing. But anyway, how are we?
Right.
Fucking right, mate. Yeah.
How you been, mate? Good?
Yeah, good, brother. Good.
Keeping busy?
Yeah. Fucking got the giggles, brother. Yeah, keep them busy, bro. Keep them fucking busy. All right. I don't know why, bro. Sometimes I get the giggles.
It's funny. It's because it's a bit weird. There's a camera there. You're going, what's going on? This is fucking weird.
And it feels like they're already watching.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not actually there.
Which is a good thing, I suppose, because we want people to watch this, so fuck, why not?
Yeah, 100%. You know? Yeah. Well, for that, let's talk about you. Who are you? Where do you come from? What do you do for yourself? Let's tell the people.
Fuck, that's a tricky one, you know? That's a tricky one. No, but, yeah, well, what do I do?
Yeah. Who are you first? How old are you? Who are you? What do you do for work?
Anytime someone asks, who are you? Have you watched the movie Anger Management?
No.
They're sitting around in a circle and like, who are you? And you guys trying to explain it. And you start off saying, oh, I'm a personal trainer. He's like, wait, stop it. Who are you? So
Did I just do that then?
No. So who am I? Who am I? It's a funny question. All right. Who am I? I'm fucking Alex Wilson, mate. Who am I, bro? It's a hard one to answer. Where do I start? You know, I'm a fucking genuine guy. Wait, can I just... I know it'll be cut about. Who are you? How would you start that off?
Oh, my name's Jack. I'm 30 years old. I'm from London originally. Now I moved to Sunny Coast, living there now, working as a PT at the gym. Something like that.
Who am I? I'm Alex, and I was... and I am Australian, not English, but I could be. Right? But I was born in Victoria, actually, in a country town called Horsham.
Yeah, right.
And then, very small, man. But it's getting bigger, you know, as they do. And then after... This is fucking funny. And after that, I moved to the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast.
Yes.
And, I was just a single child, grew up with my mum, and she raised me well, I think, you know. Yeah, and God bless her. She's not here with us anymore, but, you know, she's a beautiful soul. And and grew up on the Gold Coast. And the Gold Coast was interesting, man. It was a very different place to live. It was as a kid, it was nice. It was chilled, and as you got older, the streets. We grew up in a different, like a poorer community. The streets got involved a lot, and that. But I'm grateful because that's there we go. That's a part of who I am now.
There you go.
So there we go. I figured out who I am. And then after that, after Mum passed away, and I had my grandparents still in the picture, and things were getting a bit chaotic for me on the Gold Coast, which I can dig deep into another day. But so I chose to move to the Sunshine Coast, So we are here, Sunny Coast, and looked after them until they passed, which is also shit. But it's life, and we'll dig into that when I dig into talking about my mother. And I think that it's a lot of knowledge to be learned behind death, a lot of growth, and that's part of what makes you again who you are today. And not seeking sympathy or empathy when I share that. It's just straight up knowledge. Although Mum did hit me with the bloody wooden spoon.
Oh, flipping heck.
It's a bit of PTSD.
Yeah, right.
Fuck's sake, mate. But
should use the tongs, like you said.
Tongs, mate. But still getting to who I am, and now I'm a personal trainer. I've been in a few industries overseas. Worked in Nauru. With the refugees, which was a very interesting job. It was, I ended up being in the emergency response team doing like a security point of view with, the people that come here by a boat, and then, so what happens is they come here via a boat, they get caught by the Navy. The Navy then place them in a detention center called at Christmas Island.
Yeah.
After Christmas Island, they get processed, or they go to a place to get processed, which was either Papua New Guinea, Manus Island, which I have worked also, or a country called Nauru at that present time. I was 19. I was doing security, and I had a connection, it's not who you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And then I got a job over there, and, a little snippet, the first night shift I was working, I cut someone down hanging themselves.
Whoa. Far out.
Lots of, some people will call them dark.
Yeah.
As a young kid, I was full of adrenaline, like, there for the rescue, what's going on next? So I actually liked it. It's obviously like, God bless anyone that's done that in the past. It's not that I liked people killing themselves. That would be fucked up. But I liked, it was just shit you don't see, right? Shit you don't see.
Yeah.
And
different.
Yeah. And,
so
always open to questions about that.
At 19 as well.
At 19, brother. Yeah. Right. Straight on the plane, had the interview. Next thing, had the vaccinations for the country. And then straight on the plane. I remember landing, and this happened the first time we land, right? So the airstrips. So the country is 21 kilometers in diameter around the circle.
Yeah.
The airstrip is just, they've just put it next to the ocean, right? So if the plane lands too early or doesn't break early enough, you're in the water.
Right.
And the first time we got there, it was an overcast day, and it was just pouring down with rain. And we circled the island maybe 3 or 4 times. It was weird. And then we went to go land, and then all of a sudden, you just take off again. And fucking that happened twice, man. That was the scariest time I've been on a plane, man. I was, I had the turbulence as well. But
how big are those planes? How many people are on them?
So it was an Airbus 737.
Yeah,
little. Yeah, just a.
Are they big or no?
Nah, just a small little. Just one you go to Melbourne on,
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, just a normal Boeing 737. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I know my planes.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
Airbus A380.
Saying that like I know what that is. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Pretty big, eh?
Massive then.
But yeah, so Nauru was very interesting, man.
How long was you doing that for?
I worked there from 19 to 25, so 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, it was lots. Like, you'd be dealing with people stitching their lips up. And then, so I had one night I was working, just started my shift, sitting at we used to call them Charlies for checkpoints, our phonetic alphabet.
Yeah.
We're sitting there, right? Me and this other security guard. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up to us and just stands there like a bloody zombie, literally like a bloody zombie. And I believe he was from Iran. They stitched his lips together, zigzag, 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 all the way across. And then he's got like a Gillette or a Bic.
Right.
He's taken the razor blade off prior to coming to see us, and then slipped it between the stitches and swallowed it, to my knowledge.
Right.
You know? So we were in the thing, emergency, 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 code blue, code blue, code blue. One male, stitched lips, swallowed razor blades. All of a sudden you got everyone, medics, all that stuff coming there. And then basically, so he did this. His reasoning for doing that was to protest with fasting, but not fasting. What's the other word when you don't eat and you're doing it on purpose?
Like a food strike.
Yeah.
Like
So pretty much, yeah.
Or
And they were protesting. Hunger strike, that's the one. Yeah, hunger, yeah.
We got there.
We got there, mate. Yeah. That's the one little story, and yeah, he got
what was
accordingly.
Flipping heck. He swallowed the razor blade.
So yeah, when they had what happens when you swallow, like obviously when you swallow food, it hits all types of walls and stuff. So you can imagine a sharp razor blade is going to cut up your insides and you could bleed to death internally.
Right. Yeah.
So pretty dark.
Yeah.
Seen someone jump off 4-story scaffolding. Couple of other things. Someone was on a walking excursion and they got like in Australia, mate, we call them tallies. But there was a tallie in the Pinnacles. If you Google Nauru, you'll realise it's a country made of bird shit.
Right.
Literally phosphate. That's weird. And there's all these pinnacles where they've dug the phosphate because phosphate's actually worth something and they sell it to China and stuff. And so he was on a walking excursion, smashed this tallie and then stabbed himself straight in the neck.
What?
Yeah, just missed his esophagus and he ended up bleeding a lot, and then but all protocols were put in measure, and action was taken, and the guy survived. Ended up getting medevac to Australia, and I believe, to my knowledge, he's now an Australian resident.
Wow.
Yeah. So
how's that?
God bless you, mate. If you're watching,
if you're watching,
and
that's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very crazy, brother. It's very crazy.
So he must have been got to quickly.
Say again?
They must have got to him quickly.
Yeah, well, we were all there, just boom, boom, straight onto it, you know. Yeah. And also so what they did was they planned self-harm because they saw other refugees or clients, we used to call them, because it wasn't a jail. It wasn't a detention center. They've already been in detention. It was literally there to get processed, to define themselves as a refugee, to get into Australia or any other accepting countries.
Right.
If they're not a refugee, which means if you go home to your country, basically you're going to get killed by the government or the safety net that we call the government. You know what I mean? Like they would think that they would get to a better processing center, which there are some in Brisbane, you know?
Yeah. Wow. That's nuts. And did that for 6 years.
6 years, man. 6 years.
What made you leave? What made you want to get
out? My mum passed away in 2016 or 15, late 15, and I kept working into 2016, and I was a bit of a mess, you know, mentally. I was all over the joint, to be honest with you, brother, and I just couldn't go back into the place. I couldn't do the same shit because it just brought back memories. And my life changed dramatically. Yeah. You know?
Understandably so.
Yeah. So I ended up moving down to Victoria and working in the ski fields.
Oh, mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Just changed it because it did become a negative environment after a while, you know? Like as much as the money was good, it was adrenaline I liked it when I was younger, you know. After a while, it was like, I had 2 weeks in these refugee camps, you know. Yeah. And then I think, poor refugees, bro. They had that whole 6 years, they were there. Yeah. Yeah. Never left.
Yeah. True.
And yet I was coming home every 2 weeks. So that's why I do lots of Lots of gratitude, bro, because you got to be grateful in life, man. Because if you're not, if you don't realize what you got, you start looking at what you don't have, and then life just gets messy and upsetting, you know. And
I think it's tough as well for a lot of people because, like, you've seen that stuff, right? So, like, you are like, I've got gratitude for the fact that I'm not in that position or anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
I think people struggle these days, right? Because, like, people can be sheltered, like, easily so these days. So it's a lot of time people, I think that's why they're then like, I guess like victim mentalities and things like that.
Yeah.
But until you actually open your eyes and see that that's the kind of thing.
I totally agree with you. And I'll be honest with you, I've had the victim mentality as well, you know.
Real, yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people have been there, and I think people get stuck in it, you know. And sometimes something bad has to happen, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Something bad.
That's the nuts part, isn't it? How like sometimes when the worst thing happens, you grow from it, right?
You grow, yeah.
So unfortunately, sometimes bad shit has to happen for you to be the new person that you need to become.
Or good things, you know. You might meet a girl, you might meet, you know, someone that helps your business skyrocket, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes people need that awakening and say, oh, fuck, if I fuck this up, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Yeah.
And it's like the truth, reality, raw, uncut shit.
Yeah.
Hits them.
Well, it's like, I don't know if you listen to Alex Hormozy very much, do you?
I've listened to a couple, but I can't know off the top of my head, brother.
I see the video the other day that was like, he said, if you were going to create like an absolute weapon, like of all, like just a sick person that could just deal with anything. Do you know what I mean? Like a beast of sorts. In the creation of that person, you're not going to put them through nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree. But if that person, right, this person that you speak of, right, if they've got a memory and they're putting all this stuff and they can just be destructive and nothing affects them, you know, one day they look at their memory bank, it's going to affect them. You know, that's why I think people shouldn't always be positive all the time. Yes, it's great to be positive. Don't get me wrong. But if you're positive, in life, negative things happen.
Yeah.
But if you're only looking at the positive side of things, brother, you're going to be stuck when you have a little sad moment because it's just all going to hit you like a ton of bricks. So that's what I'm basically getting at is process everything.
Yeah.
Grieve, cry, you know.
Feel your feelings.
Doesn't matter, woman, man, just, you know, get it out. Sit there for a while. Go under the water and scream if you're scared to do it out loud, you know? Like process.
Yeah.
That's
so true.
One, bro,
yeah,
you know?
100%.
So it's what I preach to my clients, man. Like, take the time, process.
You got to, right? You got 100%. To. Otherwise, it will come and eat you later on anyway.
Yeah. I know I've got stories to say about that shit too, man. You know, like, I've had lots of things come and eat me a long time. You know?
Yeah.
From ex-girlfriends to bloody to death to what I just shared about Nauru to you know, just like even coming second on stage. I hate it coming second.
Yeah, I bet.
It's always first, you know. That's why people, speaking of bodybuilding, like people they come up to me like, I'm not competing to win. I'm like,
what are you doing there then?
I'm like, well, I understand some people go there to just bring their best to the stage, you know, but I mean, I don't know, if you're competing, you know, like, fuck. You know?
Yeah.
I don't, like, people might not like hearing this, but go in it to fucking win it, mate. Like, and visualize. And this is with everything, you know, like business, whatever your success is, whatever you perceive as for success, look at the end goal. When I compete in bodybuilding, right, I think I scratch everything. I don't look at other people competing. I don't look at anything. All I picture is me on that number one podium holding X, you know, just whatever. You know, for me, last year it was the sword.
Yeah.
You know, and then after that it was the pro card, the natural pro card, and it was the Australian overall bodybuilding national title. You know, and you know, like Conor McGregor says, if you can see it in your head and you can speak it, you'll have it in your hand.
I thought you were going to say it in his accent as well, but I'm surprised.
No, if I said it in the fucking accent, man, I would have fucked it up.
We'll get into bodybuilding stuff for sure because I think that's fucking interesting. you're a PT. You have been for how long?
So when people ask this, I always say, legally, I've been a PT for probably 4 years. I've been training people all my life, man, ever since I walked in the gym at the age of 14.
Yeah.
So, and people just, I started training by myself. Actually, I had this one guy who started to train with me. This is sort of answers two questions in one, But I had this one guy, we signed up to the gym and then I was training. He dropped off and I kept training because I started to see like minor changes,
Yeah.
And then, from then onwards, literally 14 onwards, people just, well, can I come train with you? And I'd be like, yeah, I'd be open to it. And I'd tell them what to do, show them what to do.
Yeah.
And I'd be the guider,
Yeah.
It's not officially PTing, but when I look at my job, personal training now, when I train people, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I basically, and I don't mean to sound cocky in any way or anything like that, but I basically now get paid to do what I was always doing. So that's like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, classic, yeah. So it was always going to happen, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. I guess, yeah. A little funny one that I was in Nauru, right, at the airport, and the politicians, they get to cut through everywhere. The country's corrupt. They just, like, obviously you let a politician through, but I guess, I don't know. But they let them through the airports. And I didn't know there was one there. And I was standing behind this wall and I was getting ready to scare my mate, because I got through the security first. I'm waiting. I'm like, oh, he's taking a bit long. Maybe he got caught with something or something. And anyway, I just heard someone come and I just fucking scared the living shit out of them. And then I realized it was a politician of the country I worked on. They just granted me a visa and I'm just, oh shit, I've fucked up here. Went on my knees. I'm like, sorry. Sorry, man. She's like, oh, it's okay. And then what I was leading towards that is one of the wise men, mentor / friend that I looked up to in Nauru. He grabbed me on the shoulders. He's like, mate, the gym will save you, kid. And forever that stuck with me.
Yeah, right.
Through all my traumas, through all everything, I just know the gym will save me.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. One person can say one thing to you and it can go a long way, and it's gone 10 plus years,
Mad that.
So yeah, that's sort of drifted off somewhere else.
I love it. That's jokes. That's half the point of these conversations.
Yeah.
Half the fun. That's nuts.
Yeah,
man. So do you have like a sort of an ideal, do you have a client base specifically? Do you have a niche, if you will, or are you just training fucking anyone?
Honestly, I can train anyone and I will train anyone. If you were to ask exactly what's my preference in training people, I like people that train hard.
Yeah.
Because I get into the session as if I'm training it,
Yeah.
Like something kicks in and I'm just like, all right, you want to do it? Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
And, and I'll train them hard. And I'm blessed to have people drawn to me that do train hard, Sometimes it does cut my client bases out when people see me in the gym because like, bro, this guy's crazy. I ain't fucking train with him. But I'm doing what I love. So in the end, that doesn't matter,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I always encourage people, come give it a go. It's not like I'm going to train you like that. I'll train you to your capability with that mindset and get your mind in the game like these guys are, and do it. I encourage you to do it. Test yourself, But, some people either have it or they don't really.
For sure, yeah. How are you training at the moment?
So,
what does your training look like?
Training at the moment for me is basically, at the moment, I'm going into the gym. I don't have a plan. And people say, you got to have a plan, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to have this and you got to have that. You don't know what you're doing? Yes. If you know what you're doing, my personal point of view and what has worked for me, I'll say again, what has worked for me in the past is going into the gym. Yeah, you're going to train chest or shoulders or legs or whatever, but you're shocking your muscles, right? And I'll go from A to B and I'll normally progressively overload because it's always up for me. And I like German volume training, but I have a little personal twist to it. Rather than 10 sets of 10 of the same exercise, I'll do like 10 sets of let's use chest, for example, and I'll just keep changing the angles up. And then I'll do my last set, I'll do 10, then I'll do half reps and then 4 reps, and I'll do rest pause sets. And I just constantly trick the muscles because I think something embedded with me, I think it might have been Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he says, oh, look, your mind knows what you're going to train. He's like, oh, you're going to go to the bench press, you're going to go to here, you're going to go to that. He's like, I know what you're going to do, Arnold, you know? So I've had that in my head.
Yeah.
So my theory is, all right, yeah, choose what you're training, but fuck it up.
Right.
Go start on bench press and then go, boom, 20 push-ups, and then jump and go do dips, and then walk around, have a rest, and then come back, and then, you know. But there's a lot of contradiction because people say, you know, conserve your energy for your working set. But for me, every set is a fucking working set, right? What you fucking doing in the gym if you're not fucking working in your sets, eh? You know? Every fucking set's a working set.
That's fair.
For me, anyway. That's how I train. And as I said, and I said it twice, now I'll say it one more time, that is what works for me.
Yeah.
So why would I do what works for someone else for me, you know? I'll give it a go. I'm open to learning. I'm always open to learning. I always listen, always take it in. And then I'll do what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Totally. I'll listen and I'll be like, nah, that's fucking
But
wrong.
yeah, all in a respectful manner. I'm never going to put anyone above or low on me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. When bodybuilding, when did you find out that was something you were going to do?
Never.
Really?
I still don't know when I'm going to do it next and if I'm going to do it next and whatnot. I just sort of am blessed. I'm very spontaneous. So I'll go to my first comp. Yeah. My first comp was in 2015. My mum was battling cancer. I needed something to distract my mind. All right. She got a diagnosis 10 months before she passed. So it was very short. So I competed I did a 10-week prep. I went up to my coach, Logan Robson from the Gold Coast, Australia. And, I went up to him and I said, look, bro, I want to compete. He's like, bro, there's only 10 weeks. I'm like, I don't care. I want to compete. And this is 10 weeks I've done a comp in 5.5 weeks. And this is all natural bodybuilding, right? No enhancements whatsoever. And that's hand on heart. We'll go to enhancements later. But this comp, I was 21 at the time. So I was still a junior. And it was the 20th of September, 2015. That was the comp date. So 10 weeks prior to that, that's when we started. I was working in Nauru, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I would cook 2 weeks worth of food, take it on an airplane in the cold. I swear, brother, I promise you. And then as soon as my main priority was get that meat quickly, because that's a 40-degree, 100% humidity country. Yeah. So I'd quickly get it to that mess hall, as they call it, and which is like a massive kitchen, if you know, and I'd get it into the fridge, and I already prepped them beforehand and told them this is what I'm going to do. Can I do it? You know, so I did that 3 rotations, 2 weeks on, 2 rotations. I did that 4, and then I took the last rotation off. Right. So I had the 6 weeks at home. Yeah. And, that was when I first did my comp at, mind blank, sorry, mate. So I did that. And then, 10 weeks, back to the 10 weeks part. So that was part of the prep. And I just did everything that the coach told me to do. You know, I just followed the plan, stick to the plan. And I encourage you all, don't question the plan ever. Always follow the plan, stay with it. Don't ask other people's advice. Just trust your coach, you know. That's why you went to him in the first place, because you trusted him, yeah? Yeah. So trust the bloke. Yeah. Or the female, whatever. And I ended up competing that 10 weeks after, and my best mate's mum went to hospital. Fuck, this is a bit of a jumbled story, but because I get all these ideas, you know, there's a bit of ADHD in me, you know, undiagnosed, Alex diagnosed. So let me go to 6 weeks out, right? So we get to 6 weeks out, everything's good. I'm at home with my mum and I'm having a moment. I said, Mum, look, I don't want to compete. I really don't want to compete. And I want to look after you, you know, like, although I did want to compete, mum was priority one. And like, she grabbed me. This is how I went. She said, Alex, like in a nice way. She's like, nah. Actually, she wouldn't say. Yeah. she said, Alex, do this for me. And that meant the world to me.
Yeah,
That's what drove me, you know? And that's the thing. People need things to drive them, you know? If you're just competing to see what you look like on stage, you're not going to do very well unless you're just a genetically blessed human being.
Yeah.
You know? And you need that grunt. And again, I'm just personally speaking about what works for me. So anyway, she said that 4 weeks out now. That was at 6 weeks. So 4 weeks out now. So I kept going. The day of the comp, my best mate's mum went to Robina Hospital in the Gold Coast, got my mum out of hospital, dragged her to Southport Sharks where I was competing. I competed. I won my first show, which was the under 80s men's. Which federation was ANB under 80 kilos men. I won that, and then I won the juniors. And I walked off stage, and my mum was sitting there in a wheelchair, all frail, chemotherapy, packed her body, you know, she just looked like a different human than who I knew. And I had the trophies, and I went off and I said, here, Mum, this is for you. And literally, and then she had to go because she needed to get back to the hospital because things just were hard for her to do. She got tired, whatever happened. And then my best mate's mother took my mum back to hospital. I then did another appearance on stage that day, won. And then, because I think it was a novice or something, and I took the trophies back to the hospital and held the nurses.
That's mad.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a beautiful story behind that first comp, you know. And then 1 week after, my mum passed. So a little lesson in that is like if you're battling something, you know, and I don't know what to call it, but I'm just going to say it. If you're battling something, you know, hold on to something, you know, because it's usually with my death experiences, you know, not myself, obviously, but I see people, if they don't have anything to hold on to and battle for, you know, they're going to deteriorate fast. But, you know, and I think you should obviously believe in your medication that you're taking, that it's going to heal you, it's going to work. And, you know, just find something that you're fighting for, you know, because you're going through war, you're going through mental warfare, you know. Absolutely. And physical, and yourself.
Especially, yeah.
So just find something that's worth staying alive for. And that's what my mum did, you know, and unfortunately she didn't make it any longer in life, but, you know, she had me at 39 too. So she was 60 when she passed, you know, still young, man. She got robbed, you know.
Yeah.
God bless her soul. And yeah, bro, that was special. And again, that's who made me today. So every time I do compete now in the future, it brings back those memories. And that's still what drives me till this day when I compete.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, that's mad, yeah.
Not many people know that story.
That's huge. Yeah, we now. Do now. How many shows have you done all up?
So that was one show.
Yeah.
Right. And then I did INBA the week after. So there's 2 shows.
Right.
But I don't know if you want to call shows or like the one day is a show, or how many times I've competed on that day of the show. And
so let's talk about that. How does it work? So say you have a show for a day, you compete multiple times in that day?
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it, when you register for a comp, you register for men's novice, for example.
Right.
And you register just for a weight class.
Right.
You know, so I think that's one show. Like, it's a whole bodybuilding show, but that's a contest.
Yeah.
That you're battling. Yeah. You know, and you give it everything. So that's one. It's like doing a sprint for a sprinting comp or something. That's one competition. Let's call comps, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's call it comps.
Yeah.
So I did 3 comps that day. The first comp.
Right. Yeah.
The first show.
Yeah.
The next week I did 4.
Yeah.
Correction, 3, but then the 4th one was the overalls.
Right.
I didn't win that one, but I got 3 trophies that time. 5 and 3 trophies. No, correction. So the first show I did 2 comps. I won, and then the next one I did 3, and that was 1 year. of competing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I didn't compete again until 2023.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's not last year, the year before.
Right. How did
Wait.
that
It's
last year is 2020.
yeah. So I'm 22, 2022. 2022, I competed again after that.
What was that in? Because you can't do novice.
So things were, because that federation is gone now. So again, this is the 5.5 week one. So Ethan, you know, Ethan
Yeah.
from the gym.
Yeah.
Ethan, Browning, is it Browning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ethan PT in my phone anyway, as I say.
Yeah.
So he's a wizard. I like having someone in my corner because you don't have to think as much. Yeah. So he's a wizard with nutrition, you know, and training, but I know my training and I know what works for me. So I chose to do my own training.
Cool.
So we did I had a spontaneous thought. I said, let's compete. All right. Yeah. Well, let's do it. Boom. In the books. So 5.5, we thought we had 8 weeks. And then I'm like, Ethan, bro, it's the first show's in 5.5 weeks. I'm like, do you reckon we can do it? And he said, yes. So he's like, with your genetics, yes. I'm like, fuck, all right, let's do it. And then full focus, full eye on the prize, full me holding trophy up, boom, bang. Looking forward to the show. I came in shredded, won. 5.5 week prep, that is.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, full keto prep, bro. Keto prep, bro.
So the process of that is what? Just get fucking lean, because you're clearly
Get lean,
you're big enough.
Yeah,
for
don't worry about your muscles.
Yeah.
It's just I already had the muscle size there, so it was literally about getting lean.
Yeah. Okay.
I just stripped off all as much body fat as I could. I was doing 50 minutes of cardio a day, you know, and you need to have something to drive you.
Yeah.
As I said, with if you're battling a sickness or if you're doing a competition, if you've got nothing to drive you, man, you're going to be in a very lonely, dark road.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to have lots of problems with temptation.
Yeah.
Temptation is fucked, man, because...
Well, if you didn't have the reason there, you wouldn't be doing 50 minutes of cardio a day.
Nah.
But because you got the reason, you're like, let's just crack on.
On top of your 15,000 steps a day as well, you know?
Yeah.
And your work and life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Battles, everything. And so I did that, and I did 4 shows back to back, and every show I came in leaner and leaner. And the best thing I had take out of that show is because I was a natural bodybuilder back then, yeah? And we'll go into PEDs, as I said, later on or another time. But the 5.5 weeks first comp, and then obviously 6.5 week was the next comp, which was the Nationals. I got 18 trophies at home. The first 5 were from my first year. So in those 4 shows, plus the next year that I'll get into, that's what I won.
Man.
Right? So I can't remember exactly back to which one, but the best thing I take out of is going...
too many.
Yeah. Too fucking bloody many, mate. You know? Interview someone that knows. But what I'm saying is I entered the IFBB, so people that take PEDs when I was natural, and I won the novice. You know, so that just shows you don't need steroids. And a little bit of education here. People that are young, people that are just building the base, people that are coming into the gym, don't take steroids. Master the basics. Train, learn your body, learn what works for you, build your muscle fibers, build your muscle tissues, you know?
Yeah.
Don't listen to these people, whoever you're listening to, you know? Master the basics, learn yourself, grow the muscle, because you can naturally grow, you know, 10 pounds, 10 kilos, 10 pounds, well, it'd be like 20 pounds, but...
well, yeah, because something interests me a lot when you're training people is like, I've seen you kind of like take a second and be like, you know how your body works. Like, and that sounds proper fucking silly, I know, because everyone's like, oh no, my body works. But like, you'll take a second sort of like mid-session and you'll be like, is this exactly where I need to be? Like this position and shit like this. Like I've seen you literally like stand there and do that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you mean with clients or with myself?
Both. I feel like you're kind of like troubleshooting as you go, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that what you're saying there is mind to muscle connection, brother. It's me finding my mind to muscle connection, exactly where I'm pushing whatever muscle you're training, right? Get into the position where you need to be, right? I won't go into full things because I happen to be with you to know your body and what needs to change and shuffle and stuff. But for me, I get into position, I get the weight bearing on the muscle I want to grow from a sculpting point of view, and then I maxify the tension and the intensity and the squeeze on that muscle, right? And that's probably what you're saying, me programming in my head. It's a little chip that I do.
Yeah.
And that's from just learning my body. As I said, learning what works for me, learning how to grow the muscle, learning how to activate it and so on.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it? Because I think could potentially be where a lot of people go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Is not like, what do you think the main issue because not everybody looks like you, right?
Yeah.
What do you think that is missing mainly because there's people like me, for instance, right? I fucking go to the gym.
Yeah.
And have done. Maybe not for as long as you. But like I feel like there are people out there that are leaving stuff on the table. What do you think that could be?
I think there's a lot of ego lifting these days, A lot of people want to go into the gym and just see if they can outbench their mates, and they end up stuffing their shoulder up or getting injured and they can't do things. I see that in the gym a lot. Technology is a problem. People on their phones.
Yeah.
What I used to do, I used to put my phone in the locker, put it on airplane mode, make sure my music's on and just train hard. And I could change my music for my beats,
Yeah.
And, there's lots of factors there, and how bad do they want it? What research do they do behind the scenes? Like I used to watch YouTube videos all the time of the people I looked up to and find out what they did.
Yeah.
It's like basketballers or any type of NRL or NFL. They studied the top, like boxing. You study the top boxer. I studied the top bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did what they did and found what works for me.
I guess that ties in with the whole sort of like obsession thing as well, right? Like if you're obsessed, you're gonna work harder at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're gonna find, you're just gonna do extra work if you're obsessed, right?
Yeah, exactly. Obsession, and it's not for everyone. Bodybuilding, creating muscle isn't for everyone. Training weights, I believe, should be for everyone. For general health.
Yeah,
you don't have to. Even if you don't look the part, you don't have to. But people just should train weights for general health. There's obviously different levels to the shit. And from a bodybuilder's perspective, a bit lost here, bro.
If you've got, what's the process then, right? Like you want to compete. Someone wants to compete, and they want you to coach them.
Yeah.
What's their process there? They're just reaching out to you and just saying, I want to compete.
Oh, their process would be, all right, okay. What federation do you want to compete in?
Yeah.
What comp? Yeah. Where are you at with your training? Where are you with your nutrition? What are you eating? You need to figure out basically their life.
Yeah.
Right. And what I like to do and see and have received before is, don't just give them a plan for training and food. You need to schedule their day.
Yeah, right.
And you use them to help you schedule their day.
Yeah.
You need to know what they're doing from wake up to sleep and during sleep, how long of sleep, not the sex part, but just how long they're sleeping for. But, literally, you need to know how long they're sleeping for. It's a 24/7 sport. That's why the temptation is so hard. From when you wake up, you will have cravings. You'll have a constant battle. I'll tell you to go, all right, you got to go do 5 kilometers walking when you wake up. If that bothers you, don't even start the comp. Don't do it,
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot more. I think that's my main. It's the most impressive part. Is like you were saying there, it's 24/7, right? Like it's one of the only sports that's 24/7.
100%, yeah, that's true.
Like, you do CrossFit, right? The hour of the day that you're at CrossFit is the best time. That's mint. I don't really do, like, you go in, you do your CrossFit, you kind of go, and then you go about your life.
I've never done it, so I don't know.
Just as an example, but bodybuilding, the hour in the gym, isn't necessarily
No,
it.
it's literally 10%, 20%. What do they say? The 80-20 rule, you know?
Yeah.
But like, you know, obviously the gym's a massive part of it, but it's also as massive as your eating, as your recovery,
Yeah.
as your sleep, as not fucking up with your diet.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of important. You need to base your life around your meals, basically around your meals is the major one, and that is hard for people to do
Yeah.
with their jobs. You know, some people are, you know, they're like emergency services, like, you know, they might get called to emergency. They can't eat for 4 hours because they're dealing with whatever they're dealing with, a
Yeah.
fire to a criminal to whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So you need to make sure and do a good calculation with what you are capable of being able to do.
Yeah.
And if you can fit everything in, that's if you want to win.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. What's the biggest struggle, do you reckon, when you're in prep?
For me, the biggest struggle is like sugar or food, like treats.
Yeah.
Because I got a sweet tooth as it is, you know, and that's my biggest struggle is food, cravings, temptation, because it's not just, oh, I would like to have that. It's the things you tell yourself, that voice that tells you to go when you need to go, the voice that tells you to do what you need to do when you have to do it, you know, that no one else can hear but you.
Yeah.
That talks to you in all sorts of ways, man.
Yeah.
It wants you to, you know, have that Kit Kat. Why? Or if you have that, just do a little bit more cut. Just do this, and then you're tossing it, and then you end up having a battle, and then all of a sudden you're tired because you've just had a conversation with yourself about why you should have that Kit Kat.
Yeah.
When, you know, just when that happens,
So true.
It is, brother.
Yeah.
And, you know, a little piece of ammo, I like to say, for those types of things is, you know, if you're craving something, know what you need to do to stop that craving. You know, and that can be used with all aspects, from addictions to cravings to lots of things, man. Lots of things.
Yeah.
There's lots of things I'd love to speak about, you know, but we're trying to keep on the same topic here. And, you know, and
we got plenty more time. So we can dive into all sorts, you know, a little bit later on.
Just when I said addiction, you know, something I've actually dive deep in myself, not willingly. I've had to willingly get out of it.
Yeah,
you know, through acceptance and stuff. But yeah, we'll dive into that one day.
Yeah, there's lessons in that for sure.
Lessons, but you know, as we say, lessons, time doing it is all part of your journey. And what does journey equal, brother? Growth.
Oi.
Journey equals growth. I tell you,
that's you.
Every part of your journey equals growth. And one thing I like to tell people is, if you have to go somewhere and you don't want to go, don't think you're missing out on anything, because you're not. You're still there and you're still doing what you're doing. So you're not missing out on anything because you're doing that.
Yeah.
And that comes down to a lot of things. Gratitude. Be grateful that you're doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, like
the journey that you go down is the journey that you go down, right? That's the main thing. It's never, I wish I did that. I wish I did that. It's like, no, what you choose to do at that time is what you do at that time, right?
100%. And it all comes down to peace of mind too, you know, like you got to have peace of mind, man. Like, I had some cool thing to lead up to that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a journey you choose, and if you just peace of mind.
What do you think the best piece of advice you've ever been given is?
The best piece of advice I've been given. Wow, that's a deep, great question.
It's good, isn't it?
And it's a hard one to answer because, as I said before, you know, the gym will save you, kid.
Yeah.
That's a personal, great piece of advice I've been given.
True.
Lesson of advice. There's lots of sayings, you know, but I want to twist it and just appreciate everything that comes to you, man.
Yeah.
Literally, whether it's negative or bad, because it's going to build you to the person that you are today or will be next day, you know? And I think it's very underrated what I just said, because it leads to peace of mind, and peace of mind is the ultimate richness. You know, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not happy, what's the money worth? You can have all the money in the world and you can be happy, but if you're not healthy, what's the money worth?
Absolutely.
You know, you can have all the money in the world and be happy and healthy, but you know, if you're not in a good state of mind, man, it's just, what's the point, brother? You know, what's the point? That's what I think.
Totally fair.
And believe.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Very true. I'm getting a phone call, so I'm going to pause it. So back to the bodybuilding shows, comps.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Your comp shows, man.
Same.
Same.
What's the most recent one that you did? You did 2022, and then
that was the 4 shows, and I did, as I said before, I did the IFBB one, competed against people on PEDs, still won the show, which was honestly the biggest achievement out of those whole 4 shows that I did.
Yeah,
you know,
that's mad.
And I competed. Yeah, I chucked myself in the deep end. And then last year was the big one. And shout out to George Mariolis. He is awesome coach, man, and he took me under his wing. He actually didn't charge me, you know, saw potential in me and stuff. And because I do like to give the food to somebody else and stuff. And actually, last year was the first time I ever let somebody do a training program, and me followed it for those X amount of weeks.
Yeah.
Leading up to the show.
Yeah.
You know, and I just, not that I don't want to, I wanted to give something, not that I don't want people to train me, I wanted to give something a go.
Yeah.
So I did it, you know, and I still brought the package in nice still. So I did the Brisbane show.
Yeah.
I won the Brisbane Nationals, Brisbane overall, correction. And all my federations, what do we call them before? Divisions, yeah, all my divisions. Federation was ICN. So I won the Brisbane ICN overall, which got me the sword. I always wanted that sword. The year before that, I didn't get the sword, and I was dirty.
Yeah.
And so I wanted that sword, and I said it to people. You can ask people in the gym. I said it to people. I'm getting the sword. I'm going to get the sword. And, you know, I came back and I got that sword.
That thing is thick as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's proper cool.
Cool. It's like a medieval, and it's heavy. It's proper sword.
Yeah.
Maybe I can take a picture and you can show the people.
Yeah.
Show the people, man. You could show the people, man, that sword, bro. But it was cool. I should have brought that.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I went on and did the Nationals in Melbourne, and George sent me there by myself. He didn't want to come, so I showed up for myself and followed the plan. And as I stated before, always follow the plan, trust the process. And but going to knowing your body, there was the night before the show, I'm like, something's going on here. I'm not, like, because George was obviously learning my body still, you know. I'm like, I'm not filling out something. I'm not full. So I was back and forth with a couple of people, and I just had to make an executive decision. And you know what that was? Go to an Italian restaurant and eat a big bolognese and get a bucket of chips. Not a bucket, but like a little thing they had. And ate them, and I still woke up flat. I was like, what is going on here? Something's not right. I'm like, and you know, you trust your gut. I'm big on trusting your gut. It's your second brain. And I just chose to eat. And if you're ever in this position, you know, be very careful, because you might be able to eat and you fill out, but you'll be bloated. And if you don't have time to pass your bowels before you show, you're going to look bloated on stage.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing, you know, it stuffs up your posing. But went on in Victoria, ate, and I just eventually filled out. And a little trick George showed me, get some sun. So I got some sun real quick shining on, but there wasn't much sun, in Melbourne, you know, the 4 seasons, as they say. And I went on to win that whole show and won. And then after I won that show, I then became a pro natural bodybuilder. Right.
And you win
pro card. October last year, yeah. And then they give you a choice. Do you want to do this or do you want your pro card? I'm like, pro card, obviously.
What's the choice?
It was, I think it was money. I think it was money, to be honest. It's like, do you want $1,000 or do you want your pro card? I'm like, I don't do this for the money, but I want my pro card. I went on that day to compete in the pro show that was happening that day, and I came second.
Far out.
And
So
another
did you plan on doing the show? I guess were you going, I want my pro card?
I had in my head, honestly, I was like, I can't be bothered. It's a big effort. That day is, I later found out that day I had 8 glasses of wine because George has this magic potion, and it's a nice little. I'll let you know what it is. It's red wine, honey, and coffee. Right. So what the coffee does, it gets you up. Red wine dries you out, gives you a bit of that confidence, and then the honey with a bit of sugar, gets you popping all the veins, vascular. So so I call it George's magic potion.
Right.
And it's a good one. It's a good one, and it works. But yeah, I literally drank 8 glasses of wine
throughout the day.
No, it was 3 hours. 3 hours. But it worked. George's magic potion really worked for me. Brain fart. And yeah, so I was like, why aren't I drunk? And then I realized maybe I am drunk because I was just on the stage, just doing everything I had to do. And yeah, and everything came together nicely. And
sick.
And then I went and just ate. And then, a lot of people, they go out and party and stuff. And, I like to reflect. And then that comes with gratitude and, and wake up the next day and just knowing you're still on the train, and you reverse out of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. On my pro card, I won everything that I wanted to win. I was speaking about it. I'm like, I'm going to win it. I'm going to win it. I'm going to win it. And you backed it up. It's a bit of Conor McGregor in me, yeah. Got a bit of that Irish fucking blood. That Dublin shit.
That's mint. That is mint. Yeah. What's the plan from here?
So the plan from here, it's changed. So 4 weeks ago, I chose a massive decision that I've been putting off for 17 years, and I'm grateful that I did. And that's why I preach, don't take steroids when you're young. Train for at least 10 years. I know it sounds long, but dude, steroids, they don't really do. It's like putting 91, going from 91 petrol to going to 98. 98's a bit more responsive. Your car's going to go a little bit faster and you won't even notice it much, People think they're going to take steroids and just boom.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see that, but majority it's just water and shit, and you're not eating right. You're probably eating Maccas and all that stuff and you just look like a watery mess.
Yeah.
So 4 weeks ago, I made a decision to take steroids, and I've been training for 17 years. My natural, I achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I got my sword and I got my pro card,
Yeah.
And now taking an enhancement, like I'll be honest with you, I'm taking testosterone and anti. I'm taking 350 megs a week. This is my 4th week, starting to kick in a little bit, as you can see. We're mean geezers, and yeah, it's quite different. There's a lot of mental things of it too. I haven't had any negatives yet, and I hope I don't. But it's all focus, and I like the word focus.
Yeah.
It's literally more drive, and I've heard a lot of CEOs take it, and I'm just learning more and more and more about it as I do it because I'm doing research on it and understanding how it reacts with my body and stuff like that. Just how I would do how training, for example, German volume training, how it reacts to my body. I'm seeing how this reacts to my body. So I haven't made any official decisions to compete, but I think, if I do, it'll be either next year or the year after. And at the moment, I'm just focusing on putting on some size again.
Yeah.
How much more size going to put on?
I was just going to say, man, you'll be outrageous.
I'm not that big, decent, not that fucking
What do you weigh now?
102. And speaking of it, result-wise, I started at 96 kilos.
Wow.
So sitting pretty lean, probably like 16%.
In 4 weeks.
Second.
You started what? It's 96 kilos.
4 weeks ago, I was 96 kilos and I'm now 102.
Far out. Yeah.
Right. Like not extremely lean, but and there would be some water, a lot of things to take in fact. But I want to do a DEXA scan now. I should have done it earlier, but just to see where I am from 4 to 8 weeks. Because obviously the weight keeps creeping.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like I said, it's just putting 98 fuel in the tank. And it's not like I don't even like preaching about it because I was always like preaching about putting better stuff in the tank, because you've got to master the basics. As I said, I can't even emphasize this enough. Do the hard yards first.
Yeah.
You know, because you still have to do the hard yards before you put this little bit of better. I don't want to say better fuel, because it's not good for you. It's not great for you. You know,
Yeah.
like it's not something you take for health reasons, unless your testosterone is low as it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just, I'm taking it for a bodybuilding recreational sports use.
Yeah.
For a reason. If you're going to take it for a reason.
Yeah.
Like Tracy Chapman gave me one reason, brother.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Wait. Last. Have you got any sort of, within the next 12 months, have you got any major goals? Anything that you're working towards? Or we just
staying focused, staying in line, getting things done that I start. I'm not worrying about competing, you know, and just business success and opening a few other cash flow avenues.
Yeah.
And, you know, sharing my knowledge, sharing my wisdom, sharing what I know. And this is a start right here, brother. So,
and how do people find you, follow you? How do they follow your story if you want to be found?
I want to be found. Fuck is all. I don't want to be found, man. Nah, I focus PT on Instagram. Nah, that's a start.
Yeah.
Start there, mate.
Yeah.
And you'll find me. Feel free to message me about anything. I'm open-minded. I'm open to having conversations, you know?
Yeah.
Just don't fucking take the piss, mate, or I'll slap you silly with the wooden spoon. And by the way, that's probably my ADHD that's undiagnosed coming out. But yeah, other than that, brother, it's just goal-focused, helping people, sharing wisdom, sharing love, happiness, and peace of mind. The ultimate richness.
Well, I finish.
But thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it, brother. It's been a pleasure, man.
Glad we got it done in the end.
100%, man.
Hopefully many more to come as well.
There will be, brother. There will be.
Well, man.
All right. Catch you later.